girl talk.
Why do you have to lie about that?
Is this true?
With you and my sister, none other than Torrez, right
on
here.
iPower 92.1.
The Lounge.
All right, welcome to the show. Shout out to everybody listening online, iPowerRichmond.com. Appreciate you. Let's bring him up.
Yes, TT Torrez.
Memphitz, welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Well, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Well, let's start off with you telling me what was you and K. Michelle's relationship entailed.
First of all, I just want y'all to know I'm not calling here to bash K. Michelle in no form or fashion. I don't do that. I don't argue with women. I just don't do it. It just don't seem manly to me. It just ain't how I was raised. I was in New York or whatever, fresh off the whole success of T-Pain and everything, and I just was in the office listening to music and stuff. And I was in the Sony offices, and I walked to I was talking to somebody in their office, and I was leaning in the door, and I heard somebody walking behind me. I turn around. Of course, I see, this girl, she's walking. I'm like, oh, she's cute. Like, okay, cool. All right, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, but when I turned around, I had a chain on, and it had my area code from my city in Memphis. It was a 901 chain I had, or whatever. And she was like, hey, why you got that 901 on? So I'm like, because that's my city. That's where I'm from. She's like, that's where I'm from. I was like, you from Memphis? And anybody knows me, my city, I love my city. And if while I'm on my travels or I'm working on my journeys, whatever I'm doing, if I'm somewhere, if I see somebody from Memphis, from my hometown, I'm like, oh, I just give them extra love because I know how hard it is to get out of my city. Mm-hmm. So when I see somebody from there and they doing things and you all the way up in New York and you doing this, I'm like, okay, what's up? What's going on? What you do? She was like, wait a minute, you that guy that's from Memphis and left and went to New York and did all this stuff and everything? I was like, well, yeah, whatever, being humble on the humble side. And she's like, oh, I'm about to sing for you right now. And I was like, cool, sing. So she just bust out, started singing, and I was like, yo, I couldn't believe it.
So you were blown away by her vocal ability. I was blown away. I was like,
okay. that it sounded like God just
opened up the sky.
Yeah, screamed in my face or something. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa. Okay. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm signing you right now. I went and found her attorney, everything. They in the building. I wouldn't even let her leave. I was like, no.
Because at the time, you, for those people who don't know who you are, you were the vice president of A&R. I remember you at the time from Jive Records. And were you the vice president of Jive, the A&R department, when you met K. Michelle, and that's how you signed her?
Yes, I was. I had just got to. I didn't just get to Jive from Arista, but I was at Arista first.
Right. I was going to say you were at Arista first. Yeah,
and then I went to Jive and had successes at Jive as the youngest A&R in the building, and everybody was, whatever, and I was loving it because I left Memphis for this. I left my hometown.
I mean, you
and went
were
somewhere
young,
I didn't know anybody.
Probably making about $250,000 to $350,000 a year as a VP.
No, I made $500,000.
Okay, $500,000. Yeah, because back then the checks were a lot bigger than they are now.
Exactly. So and I've been doing, and I was doing this for a while by the time I met K. Michelle. So it was kind of like I was doing my thing or whatever. And
okay, so and you were working. Pause. And you were working with Barry Weiss at the time before he went to Universal, correct?
Yep, Barry Weiss. Yep,
okay,
that was my boss.
All right. So you signed K. Michelle, and
yep, I started taking her everywhere. I started just taking her everywhere. I'm like, sing. All you gotta do is sing. Like, all you gotta do, I'm like, listen, all you gotta do when we get places is sing, and when they hear you, it's gonna be a wrap. It's over. Okay. And she used to be like, okay, cool.
So how did it change from Little Sister to you guys having a relationship, a romantic relationship with each other?
It changed from Little Sister when studio.
So late night studio sessions, spending a lot of time with each other.
I got to take blame too. I got to take blame. One-on-one time all the time with this pretty girl, and she do music and I do music, and I'm just like, she was making me laugh. I was like,
you was open and you crossed that boundary.
Yeah, and it was innocent and it was cool, and that's what it was. It was my fault too. I can't say K. Michelle just came and whatever, and it was I shouldn't have done that either as a CEO, a young CEO, and at the time I got so much going on. People don't know I got a TV show on BET. The Deal.
You had The Deal and you had Rap City. I remember.
Yeah, I'm a VP and I'm on TV. I'm like, I'm trying to do all of this, and I had my team at the office. Whatever. I went to Memphis, sat with her parents. Parents are beautiful. Sister is beautiful. Son is beautiful. everybody was just beautiful. I was like, okay, this is a cool, nice family. They was questioning me. They was like, you sure about this? And Kay, are you sure you trying to do this and whatever? And I was like, I'm vouching for her. I'm like, sir, your daughter's voice, I know you know your daughter's voice is from God. I'm just going to help her get where she needs to be. And they kind of put trust in me and was like, okay, cool, if you say so. And I was like, all right, I got her. After that, it just was like, I don't know what started happening. I just started seeing little stuff was happening. Like, I used to be like...
Like what? I want to know what was happening right after this break. Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Memphitz. He's telling his side of the story of the K. Michelle's abuse, okay? It's up 921.
What's happening? It's the boss, Ricky Rose, and I want to put you up on how to get hooked up with a bag of money.
Right chick bad looking like hard. Closed mouths don't get fed on this boulevard.
It's girl talk.
Why do you have to lie about that?
Is this true?
With you and
My sister, none other than TT Torrez, right
on
here.
iPower 92.1.
The Lodge.
All right, it's TT Torrez, and if you are just tuning in, we're talking to Memphitz. Now, you said things started happening between you and K. Michelle, like what?
Okay, I listen to music every day. I listen to people's music. People want me to listen to something or whatever. We're in Memphis. This guy, I don't know him. People come to me and say, yo, Memphis, this is an OG, this is whoever. He got something he wants you to hear. You got time? I was like, of course I got time. I'm sitting in the car listening to he got a girl. She's singing. I'm listening to the girl in the car. Oh, hell no. Cut that shit off. Cut that shit off. Like, you ain't no bitch getting signed to this label. I'm the only bitch on this label. And dude is looking at me like I'm apologizing to people. And I just got tired of apologizing to people.
Okay, so we're talking to Memphitz, everybody. All right, so let's talk about, so you guys y'all get into this relationship, okay? Did you love her? Were you guys living together at one point?
I was very, very fond of Kay, but I wasn't in love with her like she seemed to be in love with me.
Did y'all live together at one point?
No.
Y'all never lived together in Atlanta? You never lived together?
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
No.
Have y'all ever
She used to come over my house. I would go over her house condo. She used to come over my condo in New York. She would stay there when she was in town in New York to work or do whatever. And of course, yeah, she was open to stay at my house and my condo.
Okay.
My house in Atlanta and my condo in New York. When I was back and forth, if she was in town, of course, she wouldn't get a hotel. She'd come stay with me.
So let's talk about the abuse, because
Okay.
that's what you really want to call and clear up.
Yeah, before we get into that,
Okay.
I just want to say, as a new artist, anybody that knows the record business, unless you have a substantial amount of heat on you in the streets, and you've done things, and you got all kind of heat going on, and it's just bananas, even then, it is far-fetched to say any artist, new artist, received $2 million on a deal.
All right, so let's talk about the deal since you want to talk about the deal. You're at Jive Records, VP of A&R. You find K. Michelle. You sign her to the label. Back then, artists could get a big deal. It's not so common now, but back then they could have. So did K. Michelle get a $2 million deal?
Let me tell you something about Jive. Jive was more into how much money can we make and how less of money can we spend. That's Jive's motto.
Well, how much K advance was? How much did she get signed for?
I mean, I think it was close to around almost $500,000.
So $500,000 is what?
Yeah, then after reforecast and different things that may be needed or whatever, because I have to do. If I see an artist I like and I'm looking at them, I take a picture of them. I'm looking at them. I'm like, okay, I need to fix this. We fix this, and this is not just something I did with K. Michelle. Like, this is just something I do with artists. If I see something and I like it, there's a certain way you have to present yourself in this industry. You
got to market it. You got to.
So I have to be a marketing person and knowing these things. I'm like, we got to fix this, and this. Or if or you say, well, I need to do this because I'll be more confident if I got this or if I got that, and I'm like, really? Okay.
So K. Michelle was given $500K as advance, right?
No, not as an advance. I think the total deal was around about that much.
Okay, the total deal was $500K.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, were you given a substantial amount of money to run your label?
Yeah, I was given money to run my label, but I never touch an artist's situation. When they get the deal, a part of that deal is for recording and mixing and all of that. Another part of that deal is for them to have the money to be able to take care of themselves until the success starts to happen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
you
split up.
never
It's not
took
like
any of your artist money to fund personal trips or buy personal items like watches or cars or houses?
because you don't have A&Rs. You really don't have access to the person's money like that. The label handles the money. You submit a budget. The label gives you that budget if they want to, if they approve it, and then that thing happens and they pay. It's not like I guess this account sitting here and it's like, oh, it's like $300,000 in here. I need this. I'm gonna go get this watch real fast, and I'll put that back later. No.
Yeah, I understand, but I also understand how the game works. Did you ever add anything extra inside of that quote unquote budget that you was presenting to the label for personal reasons?
If I could withdraw money, that's different. If I could withdraw money out of an artist's account and put it towards something else, then I could do that. To either put it towards another artist and another artist on the label and get them a couple more spaces ahead of the game, and then when they start doing this, you put that back in there over here, and then you do this over here. Like it's so many things going on with a CEO of a music company and with multiple artists. It would take me forever to break down the way we have to move to make sure everybody. And that's why I don't really, right now on my label I got like one or two artists, one artist that I'm really focused on. I really don't. I can't pay attention to 4 or 5 people at the same time. I mean,
okay. So why? So the question I have for you, Memphitz, is why did you fold? Why did you get fired from Jive Records, and why was the
this is what the real stuff why my label folded is because I was trying to be a one-man show.
So you blame yourself for running a one-man show as to why you were fired and your label folded?
Well, it was certain things, and not to mention, when Kay starts going up to the office herself and telling the label that I hit her and all of this, and they looking at me like, when lies travel fast. If you did it or not, people just look at you like, did you do that?
So
really?
So Love and Hip Hop was not the first time that you were accused of hitting K. Michelle.
No,
she actually said that prior to Love and Hip Hop.
She says it whenever she thinks she has a stage to say it.
So before we get into that aspect of the interview, I want to ask you about the other artists that were signed to Memphitz, like Huey and
Well, I really don't want to discuss all of that. I called here I really called you to answer any questions about this particular situation.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
That's what I want to do.
Fair enough. So let's go into the abuse then. Let's go ahead and segue into that. But first, let's go into a quick break. Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Memphitz. It's iPod 821.